You know what I'm saying? Hopefully you can understand that I do not like you at all. You know what I'm saying? But we got one NBA that we got right here. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, you say you don't like me either? Yeah, I know. I get it. You know what I'm saying? I give you straight hell. You know what I mean? But anyways, man, what's good, YouTube, man? It's your boy, Jay Willie Silly, man. A.K.A. Mr. Take It Easy. Well, you end up like BZ. You know what I'm saying? But make sure y'all follow my Twitch, man. Subscribe to my second channel. Everything you need to know about your boy Jay is in the description down below. He says, Jay, when the gaming vid's coming back, you know, when I can give y'all the quality, I feel like y'all deserve good quality. Right? You know what I'm saying? See, one thing I pride myself on is good quality. You know what I'm saying? I never dish out content that I would not want to watch. And that is my biggest advice to people that want to become YouTubers. You know what I'm saying? If you can't sit down and watch your own vids, because I can. I ain't gonna lie. For everybody that want to watch my gamings, you know what I'm saying? Like, want to watch all my gaming vids, I got a lot of gaming vids. Like, stellar game. Got The Last of Us gameplay if you want to see that. For all my new subscribers and new viewers, The Last of Us. I did a whole Walking Dead series. That was fire. Madden, you know what I'm saying? But I you know what I'm saying? You know, like quality. So I should have my gaming setup finished, bro, by GTA 6, you know. But I want to give y'all good quality, man. Tired of streaming on PlayStation, honestly. So gaming gonna come back, you know what I'm saying? But we gon', you know what I'm saying, get this streaming. We got our streaming set up. We already got everything, PC, everything, you know what I'm saying? We cool. You know what I'm saying? But the gaming setup, we gotta get the gaming set up, you know what I'm saying, right? And once we get that right, we gonna push out content for Sholioli. You know what I'm saying? But we got one NBA old head versus 10 Gen Z fans. We done this. You know what I'm saying? We done this. Part 1. If you haven't seen part 1, it is in the NBA reactions playlist section. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to do part 2, man. Make sure y'all subscribe.
That we know how to get around screens. We know how to slip screens. We know how to go under screens. But with all of that being said, the collection of we have to stay on point in what this was. And when I think about the Bulls run and what the Bulls did during that time, so having to beat the Knicks who they were favorite, who was favored against them in 1993. Okay,
hold on. Oh, you say you fully locked in on the Lakers now. What do you mean by that? You know what I'm saying? Fully locked in on the Lakers now. You op? You know what I'm saying? What you mean fully locked in on the Lakers now? You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? I just want to understand what you mean by that. You know what I'm saying? Because if you a goofy op boy, should you be fully locked in on your team? You know what I'm saying? What you mean you fully locked in on us? That's what I be saying. It's hilarious how we be in your head like that, bro. That is hilarious.
Game dogfight, same Knicks team that in 1993 had won 27 straight games at home. They go into their building in the playoffs in the East Finals and beat them. That's almost impossible to do. And then you move into Phoenix when they beat them. It's a team that won 60 games. They beat them in their building for the NBA championship. Then you move into Seattle, how difficult. In Seattle, they beat them twice during the regular season. They ended up beating them. The Utah Jazz, who came back the next season after they had beaten them, who were even better. And when they were better, they still ended up.
No cap. This man funny, bro. I ain't gonna lie.
Challenges. When you talk about having to deal with tough stuff, I think that the Chicago Bulls, that run that they had during that time, when everybody thought that they were over, it was really impressive.
All right, we're actually going to move on to the next topic. But the judges, any updates? Who has the lead right now?
He got it.
That one was very,
that was good.
Very,
That was
very close.
That was
very close. For me, it's just tough. I felt like they were talking about a 3-year stint of the Warriors with Kevin Durant, while you were talking about 8 years where they won 6.
Yeah, they didn't quite attack the 4.
Also, if we're talking about injuries, was Kevin Love and Kyrie Irving not hurt during the 2015?
Well, and how about Kawhi getting hurt against the Warriors?
Zaza Pachulia.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying? Draymond had to put a hit out on Kawhi with Zaza in order to do that. So, yeah, I'm just saying.
Since we're on the subject of the
he being real. He being real. You know what I'm saying? He being real. Now, I mean, the Warriors has got lucky, bro. You know what I'm saying? With some injuries. I'm just keeping it in the beezy. Same thing for 2022. You know what I'm saying? Couple of injuries is in the Western Conference. You know what I'm saying? I'm not taking that 2022 championship away from them. I'm just saying, bro, luck has been on y'all side a lot of time, bro.
I think one of the biggest problems that I have is that, people talk about the 90s being overrated. I don't think the 90s is overrated. I don't.
You got to hear that because your generation are the most nostalgic motherfuckers in the world. You guys evangelize everything. There wasn't mass media back then. You go on the TV, you had like 5 channels to choose from. You're watching Golden Girls, you're watching the news, or you're watching the Chicago Bulls play. So because of that, the response to that you see from young people that are too disrespectful, too dismissive of what was around back then that actually has merit.
Yep.
It's all in response to the ridiculous pedestal that people that watch the game back then hold it to because of the memories they have associated with it that aren't rooted in logic. It's just purely emotional. All the reasons that exist today on why players are better today, teams are better today, that's all true. And maybe people take it too far to diminish what happened because naturally everything progresses. It all comes down.
I don't know if it's emotional because, I mean, we can talk fact. I mean, I think about the players that played in the 90s, the athlete that was in the 90s. There were some ridiculous athletes in the 90s. And since you're talking about media, I'm trying to imagine what the media looks like when they're talking about Charles Barkley, who from 1989 to 1993, I mean, he had, I think, 85. Yeah, he had 85, 30, and 10 games. That's more than KG. Right? So this is what's going on. Imagine if we're covering this guy every day. See, I was only able to see this once in a while. You know, John Stockton, he had a 10-year, he had a 3-year stretch where he went 17 and 13, 17 and 14. That's a 6-to-1 assist to turnover ratio. Imagine if we got a dude running around in the NBA with a 6-to-1 assist to turnover ratio today, and we only see him like once or twice a year. Imagine if we had that going on.
If we had year-round media coverage of Charles Barkley, he'd be called a fat slob who can't play defense, a foul merchant,
you mean like Luka?
merchant.
You mean like Luka?
No cap. You know what I'm saying? But nah, Charles Barkley was like that, bro. It was once at a time, you know what I'm saying? People thought Charles Barkley was the best in the league, you know what I'm saying? All that fat slob and all that, because Luka definitely, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, bro, this game is so soft now. You know what I mean? Luka definitely, I'm not going to say a fat slob, but I'm going to say a slob. You know what I'm saying? Honestly. You know what I'm saying? Like, honestly, Luka is not better than Magic Johnson. I don't care what nobody says. You know what I'm saying? You know, he like I said, for me, I like Luka, but I'll take Cade Cunningham over Luka. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna say a fat slob. You know what I'm saying? But I'll say he was a little thick slob back with the barbecues was a little thick. You know what I'm saying? But the man don't play defense. He cries too much. You know what I'm saying? And I told y'all how I feel about Luka. Until his game changes, my opinion would not change about the little fob.
You mean like Luka, who's at the top of the league, by the way?
You want to know why?
Guy?
You want to know why? We're talking about things being evangelized and things being emotional.
Right.
The mass media today and the fact that people can see everything.
Sure.
There's never been a crop of people in the world that are more hatred in their heart than young fans today.
Right.
And they have all the reasons to criticize players.
Right.
The reason these guys are revered so highly is because they didn't get to see enough of them.
Right.
They only got to see the peaks. They only got to see Barkley in the finals.
Right.
So it's, he's the finals guy, MVP guy. They don't get to criticize the weaknesses.
Sure.
Joel Embiid has more of all those stats you said than those guys you mentioned before.
Right.
Washes those guys offensive players. Washes not Kevin Garnett.
And I'm glad you brought that up.
And he's the most hated player of all goddamn time.
Actually, he's not, because he's still a top 5 player still. And like you just talked about,
You think he's talking about it like this?
And you talking about Luka also. As much as we talk about Luka being a fat slob and Luka doesn't work on his game.
Who a top 5 player?
Luka is still revered as one of the 3-4 best players in the game.
And imagine he played in the 90s. He wouldn't be called a fat slob. He'd be called White Jesus. He'd be called everything in the
White who? Hey, White Jesus? Are you at your dang mind? Bro, if Luka played, that is one player that I just feel like would not survive in the 90s. Luka Doncic. You know what I'm saying? Luka Doncic would not survive in the 90s. As much crying as this man do, as much dumb shots, as much as relying on the whistle as he do, you know what I'm saying? He won't survive in the 90s. They're going to force Luka to play basketball. All that little, hey! Nobody was doing that back then, bro. Even in the 2010s, wasn't nobody taking up dumb shots. I genuinely feel like Luka Doncic would not survive, even in my era. You know what I'm saying? Luka Doncic would not survive in my era.
Right. He'd be evangelized so much.
You just said White Jesus.
Like that today, only except we get to see him more and you just talking bad about him. We still talk about him as a great player today, just like you would talk about Charles Barkley if he played today. Just like if you talk about a guy like Buck Williams, who was an all-league defender, if he played today. Just like you would talk about any of these other guys if they played today and they were, once again, if they were covered the way that they're covered back then. The way that they're covered today, it would be way different. So I'm trying to imagine what Olajuwon would look like today in today's game if he was covered as much as he was.
Olajuwon was nasty, bro. That's one big man that I know that would toast anybody. He would kill Wemby. all this Wemby junk. I told you, I say it all the time. Wemby soft to me. You know what I'm saying? Wemby just got hype. So that's what make him a threat on defense. But that post, he's soft. That's what people don't want to hear about Wemby. Wemby soft. I'm sorry. Him being tall will make him good at defense. He had a freaking center like Elijah Wan on him. A center like Elijah Wan, man, Wemby gonna get worked. Put him down there with a center like Shaq. Man, Shaq gonna dominate Wemby. Gonna get dominated, bro. That's 7'1". These are David Robinsons, bro. These are big men these are big men. You know what I'm saying? Real Patrick Ewings, bro. Bro, these big men, bro. They had that big man junk. But Akeem Olajuwon, bro, my God. Imagine him with Kevin Garnett. Imagine him guarding Dirk Nowitzki. Oh my God, bro. That's what I'm saying. These little kids be talking about Wemby. Wemby ain't nothing close to what I seen. You know what I'm saying? Talking about big men and all, man, bro. Dirk would shoot Wemby eyes out. You know what I'm saying? That's on my life. Dirk would shoot Wemby eyes out. Tim Duncan will school the freak out of Wembyamba. You know what I'm saying? Straight up.
Then I'm trying to imagine if Kevin Johnson, who's a 4-time all-league performer, Mark Price, what he would look like in today's game, or Penny Hardaway, how we would be.
Yao Ming would give him hell
about these guys today. I don't think that the game is overrated. I think that the game is actually underrated, because if you think about Anthony Edwards, who do we compare him to? Right? If you think about Steph Curry, who do we compare him to? Magic. So when we talk about all of these guys, I don't think it's underrated.
What?
I don't think that it's revered as enough. But I don't want to go overboard with it.
Thinking Reggie Miller.
Certainly pros and cons. Some guys who get more spotlight and less. Sure. But overall, you remember things fondly when you don't see the negatives as much. And these days, you see a whole lot of negatives go with the positives. That really muddies things up. And history remembers the positives a lot more than negatives. So that is why people of that generation tend to overrate things and, give and take.
Fair enough.
How premeditated was the Golden Girls reference?
That was good. That was good.
Gotta just go back and watch, bro. Go back and watch.
What's up, brother? How you doing, my man? All right.
Good.
Yes, sir.
All right,
Dude, it's Stephen Curry.
To address something you said, Joel Embiid is not top 5 in the world right now. You said that before. I couldn't let that slide.
Today.
Exactly.
Today.
Right now, I just can't let that slide.
And why?
I can't let that
He's
slide.
not today.
Because he doesn't play.
That's the only reason. Not because it's game.
We're aligned on that.
Yeah.
We're aligned on that. We're aligned on that.
Not because it's game.
But the 90s are overrated, and it's because of people from your generation. Because in every single field across the world, everybody can understand that as time goes on, things get better.
Sure.
You look at other sports, people say, yes, players today are different than what they were before. You always say they're bigger, faster, stronger. You look at technology. Technology today is much better than it was back then. You look at the way cars are made, the way people cook food, all of that stuff. Everybody acknowledges the way we do things today are largely better than what they were 10 years ago, 20 years ago. Except when we get to NBA basketball. When it gets to NBA basketball, now it's, we're not doing what they were doing in the 90s. And for a lot of people, I will say, that's
a bad comparison. And one thing I cannot stand, bro, about people like you, and I understand, my mama just like you, and I can't stand that she be doing that junk. She make comparisons about things, you know what I'm saying? You can't compare like the cooking and the technology to basketball. You just can't compare it. It's something that just can't be compared. Like for me, I feel like back then the NFL was better than it is now. You know what I'm saying? You feel me? So it's like you talking about technology. Of course that junk gonna get better because technology. You know what I'm saying? You talking about cooking. Of course that junk gonna get better because they're coming out with more new things. But bro, this is basketball. You know what I mean? This is football, bro. You know what I'm saying? This ain't no freaking technology. You know what I'm saying? This ain't none of that, bro. So that's bad comparisons. You know what I'm saying? But for me, I just feel like, for me, honestly, y'all just more flashier. You know what I'm saying? You just got more flash to you. You know what I mean? They wasn't really flashy because you know why? Because they actually called carries. They actually called travels. Bro, y'all more flashy today because they don't call nothing. Bro, these refs let y'all do whatever the freak y'all want. Y'all, how many carries do we see in this game? How many times, like, they don't even call carry anymore. How many times do we see these players carrying? How many times do we see these players traveling? Back then, they actually called carry. Back then, they actually called travel. So they couldn't be as flashy as y'all. They couldn't do all that. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I feel like it was harder back then. You know what I'm saying? Because the refs actually held them accountable. Couldn't sit in the lane for 3 seconds. You know what I'm saying? The refs don't call nothing with y'all, bro. So you basically can do whatever the freak you want. So you can look flashy. Even in the in the 2010s, they called carries. They called travels. They called 3-second violations. They let y'all do whatever the freak y'all want. So, of course, you're going to look better, bro. You look better, but you just not better. You know what I'm saying? They have more fundamentals, bro. You feel me? Y'all just look flashier because you can do more with the ball. You know what I mean? So that's why you be thinking, oh, you know what I'm saying, bro? We better and all that. You're not better, bro. You just flashier, bro. It's a difference. Not better, you just flashier. But when it came to playing basketball, bro, honestly, I feel like the 90s, the 80s, and the 2010s is better than today. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to playing basketball, forget all that flashy junk. Forget all that, you know what I'm saying? All that junk. Man, forget all that. When it comes to playing basketball, the game, I feel like y'all the worst at it, bro. Because y'all not held responsible, bro, for the travels, for the carries, for the 3 seconds. They just let y'all do whatever the freak. It's freestyle out there, bro.
Are young or old, they may not just know what they are looking at. Because if you look at 90s basketball,
I ain't hypnotized by the flash.
In 90s basketball than it is today. You can have a situation where you say, 1, 2, 3, 4, you go over there, I'm gonna play one-on-one here, and if I can get by my guy, I can score. You don't have to play zone defense. You don't have to worry about a guy shading over here or defenses being so set up to stop you. Right. And as time goes on, you look at numbers, you look at analytics, and you figure out, oh, this is a better way to get more points on the board in this 48-minute span than what we were doing 20 years ago. Right. And everybody can acknowledge that, except for people who are just obsessed with the 90s.
Well, I think that it can be a little bit pretentious, but with that being said, it is a little bit overboard because you say stuff like the athlete is better today than it was in the 90s. I mean, I was watching Kenny Smith in 1990 throw the ball between his legs and dunk the ball off the backboard backwards at 6'3" in 1990. That was going on, right? I was watching Terrence Stansbury,
Dominique Wilkins, Sean Kemp
from the dotted line off of one leg. These are athletes, and that was going on, and that's one of the biggest problems that we have with today. The athlete is better today than what it was back then. When we had superior athletes like Sean Kemp, we had superior.
Just said it, Sean Kemp, Dominique Wilkins. Them boys had some high flyers back then. And, bro, dunkers was way better. If we want to talk about athletic, bro, they was way more athletic back then. You don't see nobody dunking like Vince Carter. You don't see nobody dunking like Sean Kemp. Bro, I want you to look at young Kobe Bryant. You know what I'm saying? Kobe Bryant. You don't see nobody dunking like that, bro. Like, for real, bro. Air Jordan. You don't see nobody dunking like that, bro. No cap. Folks ain't dunking like that, bro. Go look up Sean Kemp and Dominique Wilkins and them boys, man, bro. Come on, bro. Drexler, bro. Nobody, folks ain't. Look at the Julius Irvins. I'm telling y'all, bro, today basketball is the worst basketball, bro. No cap. It just is what it is, bro.
Better today than what it was back then. When we had superior athletes like Sean Kemp, we had superior athletes like Xavier McDaniel, we had superior athletes like Charles Barkley, who was considered a fat slob, but that wasn't going on back then as fast as he was running and as high as he was jumping. These kind of guys were superior athletes, and that's the thing that you guys harp on the most. The athlete is better. The skill set was better. Isaiah Thomas had a ridiculous handle. Isaiah Thomas was incredible at getting by guys and getting to the rim. Mark Price is another guy who played pick and roll and pick and pop and was fantastic at it, and his game would translate, because that's the thing that I think about the most when I think about these guys back then. Whose game can translate from back then to today? When I watch Bam Adebayo, that's Buck Williams. When I watch Bam Adebayo, that's Buck Williams right there. And I don't mean that that's him specifically, but he reminds me a lot of Buck Williams when I watch him. Every time I watch his game, how he is around the rim, the defender that he is, the glass cleaner that he is, how he is in the mid post. Buck Williams actually toned his game down when he was with the Portland Trailblazers, because he was an 18-10 guy to play a different role, to be a defender. Now, if I'm doing that today, and in today's game is how much space that we have out here, I think it's way different than what it is back then.
And listen, shout out Buck Williams.
And that's what I'm saying. I just feel like a lot of people speak like, bro, you got to go back and look before you speak on things. I just feel like him and just people in today's, like, you cannot like just act like your game is better because that's all that you seen. You know what I'm saying? Bro, you got to go back and acknowledge the greats, the Clyde Drexlers, the Michael Jordans, the Larry Birds, the Magic Johnsons. You got to go back and look at these players, bro. Watch these players. You know what I'm saying? You can't just be like, oh, they're not more athletic, you know what I'm saying, because of what you seen. You know what I'm saying? Because you got some dogs back then, bro. You know what I'm saying? You got some dogs. So, you know, a person who speaks on something that they have no knowledge of is a fool. You know what I'm saying? So why are you speaking on the 90s when you never go back and watch the 90s? Why are you speaking on the 80s when you never go back and watch the 80s? It's literally full games on YouTube for you, literally, bro. Not Hoops Classic, literally. You can go watch a full 90s game today. You know what I mean? But you don't want to go watch it. You just watch today's game. You know what I mean? And then you speak on something that you have no knowledge of. You just talking, bro. You know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying? But if you all the comparisons and all the era stuff, it can't just go one way. You can't just say, oh, what would they do back like how would a 90s player look today? You can take people from today and say they can play in the 90s. You can say if you put Steph Curry
DeAndre
in 1992, the way that he moves around, it's different. Like there's so many skill sets today that if you put back then, they wouldn't know what to do, and they would be the ones who revolutionized the game.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough. Fair enough.
All right.
What's up, brother? What's going on, brother?
Doing good. So, when I think about the 90s basketball, great product. It is what it is for that time. Key point, it is what it is for that time.
Right.
They just got done doing crack back then. Naturally, you're not better than what we have going on right now, just with the way times of all things are going. We shoot better, we play faster, we play better, rebound better. Everything is just naturally better.
It's just naturally better based on just the time. That's
Time.
That's
time.
essentially what
It's
you're saying.
time, and then
even so it's based on the time. Even though with the stuff that was going on then, it could translate to today. So not everybody was on drugs back then, just so you know.
a lot of them were, though.
I just want to make sure that we clear. Not everybody was on drugs back then. And the guys who were on drugs were pretty damn good, even being on drugs. Holy shit. So it's not like these dudes were just keeling over. No, that's not what was going on. The guys who were on drugs, to your point, were really damn good. But I want to make sure that I get back to the point that if you have something that was older and now it's here today,
yes,
it can be updated. And what I don't want to do is I don't want to get away from how good guys are today. I think Giannis would destroy the 90s. I don't think he would be good in the 90s. I think he would destroy the 90s.
Yeah, and Giannis, see, we agree. That's why I be saying it's players that I feel like that can actually like go crazy in the 90s and early 2000s. Like, bro, Giannis, bro, heck yeah. Giannis, who else? You know what I'm saying? Who else? I feel like Cade can be that player, you know what I'm saying, to be in the 90s. Cade, who else? You know what I'm saying? Not too many players I feel like can hoop back then, bro. You know what I'm saying? Honestly, because a lot of these players be crying. You know what I'm saying? Cade, Giannis. I got to really think. I got to think, man. I got to think. But a lot of these players be flopping and crying. You know what I'm saying? You say SGA, I mean, if SGA don't flop too much, I say he could do it. But I don't know. He flops a lot. Like same thing for Luka. Like I say, ain't cry too much. It's just I don't really know how I can see them. I'm naming players that don't cry, that don't flop and all that. You know what I'm saying? That just literally play basketball. Those are the players that I'm looking to name. So I really don't know how they would be without the flopping and without the crying and without the depending on the whistle. I just don't know how they will be. You know what I'm saying? You know, just being back then. You know what I'm saying? Also they flop too much and they just cry too much. You know what I'm saying? And they just depend on the whistle too much. So it's like, you ain't got that back then. So it's like, how would you adjust? You know, these players, Giannis, Cade, Cunningham, they don't cry. They just hoop. So I just know that, you know what I'm saying, them type of players can hang back then.
Hakeem Olajuwon would destroy this era. I think he
and I ain't gonna lie, Jokic cries a lot too. You know what I'm saying? Like Jokic flops a lot too, bro. So I just don't know.
He would destroy the 90s. But I can also say Hakeem Olajuwon would destroy this era. I think he would kick ass in this era.
That's fair.
Because his game translates. I think that the guys whose game translates the most, that's why they're all-time greats. That's why I think about Penny Hardaway and Gary Payton and Mark Price and Jason Kidd and guys like Grant Hill. I think that their guys translate to today's game the most, and because it translates to today's game, because of the athlete that they are, because of the skill set. And on top of that, I think we completely leave out that these guys coming into the game, they wouldn't just still be what they are. They would adapt to the game. So
you really think so?
100%.
Heck yeah.
Because I can't shoot, I'm gonna see guys who can shoot.
That's a wild hypothetical.
No, it's not.
I can't lean that way.
No, it's not.
I
And the
go
reason
by
why-
with what I see on paper.
Right.
On the court. If you could shoot back then, you would show me you could shoot.
Right.
Jordan couldn't do that back then. He was shooting at 31, 32%
All
from
you
three-point
talking
line.
about is the long ball line. Just so you know, it's a huge floor. And I'm not just shooting at the long ball line. I'm shooting in the mid-range, which Jordan had a money mid-range game. That was his game, in fact. Not only was that his game, him getting to the rim, scoring over big.
Just because you can hit mid-range don't mean that you have the ability to shoot from the three-point line.
My man, that's the problem with the league today. You always talking about three-point lines. That is the problem with the league today. Everybody want to shoot. Jordan didn't have to shoot. Jordan was not a great three-point shooter, but, bro, he dominated the game. Bro, nobody in this freaking era right now is stopping Jordan. I don't give a freak who you is. And I watch Jordan. I go back and see, bro. You know what I'm saying? Hey, bro, I'm telling you right now. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's stopping that man. Nobody. You know what I'm saying? Right now. He ain't got to shoot threes. That's what I'm talking about with this era. Y'all want to just shoot threes, bro. Jordan ain't got to shoot threes. He wasn't a great three-point shooter. You know what I'm saying? Kobe was not a great three-point shooter. LeBron is not a great three-point shooter. You know what I'm saying? You got to LeBron destroyed the league. You know what I'm saying? Only really shooting mid-ranges. LeBron 33% from the three-point. Bro, it's adjusting, bro. He ain't got to shoot threes to destroy you. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying with this freaking league. Everybody want to shoot threes. Everybody thinking, oh, yeah, you got to shoot threes to be good in this league. Man, no, the freak you don't. Man will bust you up in the freaking mid-range and don't act like Michael Jordan couldn't shoot a three. He can shoot one, but that's not his go-to. But he will shoot that mother effer though for Sholi-Yoli. You know what I'm saying? But, bro, Mike ain't had to shoot three because he's just going to destroy you in the midi, bro.
DeMar DeRozan has that exact same skill set when it comes to shooting. He's not a three-point shooter.
Which is the worst logic that I've ever heard in my whole life when I hear you dudes talk about DeMar DeRozan.
I'm just talking about shooting aspects.
Right, and we're talking about shooting aspects because I hear you dudes talk about DeMar DeRozan like Jordan would be DeMar DeRozan in today's game.
That's not what I'm saying.
Who is the closest thing in you guys' estimation to Michael Jordan? Kobe Bryant, and not one of you would say DeMar DeRozan and Kobe Bryant in the same sentence.
I'm just talking about the logic of shooting the ball and assuming that you have the ability to shoot.
And I'm not saying that. And that's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is that a guy in DeMar DeRozan who has now put the three ball in his game.
It's not good still, but
it might be. It's respectable where he will shoot the three. Jordan could shoot the three. We saw 6 threes in one game, right? We saw him knocking down. Yes.
Dante DiVincenzo shoots 9 a game.
Yes, sir. 100%.
Dante shoots 9.
Yes, and Jordan would have to shoot more threes, no doubt about that.
And he's not hitting most of them. That's why.
And neither are all of the other guys. So when you're talking about elite guys, I mean, Jason Tatum shoots 12. How many of them is he hitting?
Probably 8 of them.
No, he's not hitting 8 of them. Hell no.
I didn't believe that in a second.
Absolutely.
But when it comes to scalability and what these guys in today's game could do compared to the limitations that these guys from the 90s have, naturally they're going to be able to do more because they were brought up to do more.
Right.
The 90s guys, all you can do is assume. But along with that assumption, you have to take with what you see out there on the court. There are only 5, 6, maybe 10 guys who were truly ahead of their time in terms of how they played. That's a fair assumption. But with guys like Jordan, any other elite offensive player, it's hard for me to see that. Magic Johnson, it's hard for me to see that and assume that he could do what guys like Jokic just do.
I really don't know why.
It's just harder.
All right, Mo.
Shout out scalability.
Scalability, evangelize.
We meet again, OG.
What's going on, brother? Yes, sir.
So I want to start this debate by laying the ground rules of the debate. I believe that all the great players back then would be great today for the most part. So I'm not trying to debate about the great players. I want to debate about the premise of the average NBA player today is better than the average NBA player in the 90s.
Interesting. So I'm not thinking about just average players. I'm thinking about guys who were in other positions. For example, I think Otis Thorpe would be great in today's game, just as a dirty work guy. He's good in the mid-post. I think he was a great defender. I think he was a great rebounder. And what Isaiah Stewart does for the Detroit Pistons, he could do that for a championship contending team or a playoff team. And on top of doing that, I think he would be even better because I think he was a better offensive player than Isaiah Stewart.
So I think we can agree that players back then that were good probably will be good here. So I'm not trying to disrespect those players back then.
Sure.
But I am trying to argue that there was a dilution in the product back then because starting from 88, they expanded, and up until 95, they expanded to 6 total teams.
Sure.
You had the Grizzlies, you had the Heat, you had the Hornets, you had the Timberwolves, you had the Raptors, and you had the Timberwolves. All for the most part, half of those teams right now still
are bad NBA franchises. So you could only imagine in the 90s, most of them weren't good. Outside of the Magic, none of them had immediate success. I think when you have 6 new NBA teams introduced in an era, you automatically get worse NBA players on those teams. I think right now the NBA desperately needs an expansion because there are too many good NBA players. We see what Quentin Grimes is doing with the 76ers right now. He's averaging 25 plus points per game. Back then in the 90s, you didn't have Quentin Grimes that bounce around teams and can average 20 a night.
Interesting, because number one, the Heat showed up in '88. They were in the playoffs 4 years later. They were in the Eastern Conference Championship in '97.
That's a good franchise.
Which is 9 years later. The Minnesota Timberwolves, I'll give you that. The Orlando Magic, we already talked about. We already talked about them. Charlotte, who ended up
joke.
Yeah, Charlotte. But well, they weren't a joke back then because I mean they had the number.
They had a good
pick.
run.
Not only did they have a good run, I mean they drafted well. They beat the Boston Celtics and ended that franchise. Ended their run. So Charlotte. Let's see, the Miami Heat. Let's see, Orlando. So teams like that. So teams like that. It wasn't of the 5 teams. That's 60% of them that were actually really good.
6. We have the Raptors. We have the Grizzlies. So both of those teams at first were very bad.
They had no idea what they were doing with the Grizzlies. That's why they ended up folding. So I mean, I can't count them. But with that being said, they also had players on that team who weren't bad. I mean, Big Country Reeves, Shaq would tell me all the time how much of a difficult time he had with Big Country Reeves. He is the same one that when he retires, he's gonna say, this guy was he gave me the most problems. That's Joel Embiid. When Joel Embiid retires, he's gonna say, Al Horford gave me hell. I promise you that.
Now, in 98-99, the team with the best offensive rating was the Indiana Pacers with the 110 offensive rating.
Sure.
Right now, that would rank bottom 10 in the NBA in terms of offensive rating. Offensive rating now has exploded, and it's exploded since the 2000s.
Yep.
It's even better than the 90s. I'm looking at the average NBA player today. They need to have more skills to play and be in a rotation than back then.
Yep.
Back then, you can have one role. You could either defend really well, rebound really well, maybe shoot, maybe pass. Now, you have to have a combination of at least 3 of them.
Sure, but the offensive rating really quickly.
No, you don't. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to keep it real with you. No, you don't. You feel me? Because we seen the Patrick Beverleys. You know what I'm saying? I seen that, so that's really not true, honestly. You know what I'm saying? Like, honestly. You feel me? But, yeah, man, I just feel like if you find one role, you know what I'm saying? Because we got Jared Vanderbilt, you know what I'm saying? Defensive player, defensive minutes, Marcus Smart, defensive player, you know what I'm saying? Honestly, Draymond Green, defensive player, you know what I'm saying? So that's honestly not true what you're saying, you know what I'm saying, about they needed other attributes. That's not true. You know what I'm saying? If you're a good enough defensive player, if you're a good enough defensive minutes, you know what I'm saying? Isaiah Stewart, you know what I'm saying? If you're a good enough defensive minutes, bro, teams will, you know what I'm saying? You'll be all right in the NBA. You know what I'm saying? Like if all you do is, because people ain't looking for you to score. You know what I'm saying? Being a good defender is a very, very, you know what I'm saying, like important job. Like Draymond Green wasn't the best offensive player. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't the best passer. He wasn't the best rebounder. But one thing that Draymond Green was the best defender on that Golden State Warriors team. You know what I'm saying? And when he wasn't playing, it really showed. So you don't need multiple combinations in today's game, you know what I mean, to be, you know what I'm saying? So that right there is false.
Doesn't really work for me because the Golden State Warriors in 2015, 2016 had the best offense in NBA history. They'd be at the bottom of the league today. In 2025, it would be the worst offense in the NBA today.
So imagine just how much better it is than the 90s.
Fair enough.
Let's go. OG.
All right, next topic.
Well, it's interesting. We were talking about the Golden State Warriors adding Kevin Durant and how much better he made them.
So that right there is part, you know what I'm saying, part 2. You know what I'm saying? We will do part 3 tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? Honestly, I like these debates, man. You know what I'm saying? I really, really genuinely, you know what I'm saying, like these debates. You know what I'm saying? Especially with people that knows football. You know what I'm saying? If you know football, you feel me? I'm all for it. I'm all for football. I'm all for you knowing football. You know what I'm saying? But if you don't know football,